Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today what we're going to be doing is finally finishing Kazawaki's brake caliper rebuilds. So this is one I've already done. This is ready to go back in the bike. I have the new brake lines here and all, and we're going from this one to this one, or this one to this one. We're not going to bring it back to this. So in the last video you would have seen me take these apart, pop out the pistons and stuff, and in this video what I'm going to be doing is stripping the rest of this down and cleaning it and reassembling it. And then I'm not going to show you me bleeding the brakes because I've done that in videos before. I'll leave links up there, or whichever side it is, I don't know. It's in up there somewhere. And if you want to see how to bleed brakes, it's in those videos. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So just to show you again, this is what we're aiming for, this lovely new shiny one. We didn't repaint it or anything, but this is something we could do in future. But it is just cleaned up and looks a hell of a lot better in my opinion, you know, to what this one is. So what we do have is new pistons, which are in these boxes. We have new seals from All Balls here, and if you want the codes, the caliper rebuild kit front. So this one is 18-3120, so this is the caliper rebuild front. And also the master cylinder rebuild kit is 18-1015. But everything that we're going to be using is in this kit, 3120, except for the pistons, which I bought separately, thanks to Pat and Freeman Motorcycles setting me up with those. Anyway, let's jump into this. What we're going to do first is just basically pull out all this stuff and then get to cleaning. So let's do it. So we're going to put away this nice clean one. We don't need it. And basically this whole thing, I'm sorry about the lighting in here, I'm still have to fix my lights. This whole thing actually just pulls out entirely, which like that, which did surprise me a bit. I didn't realize that's how easy it was to get out. This thing is absolutely disgusting. It's full of gunk. And there you go. So that is that kind of done. I'm just gonna see, can I brighten it up? Okay, anyway, I'll try to brighten it up afterwards. You can't really see much, but these little piston guys here, so these little piston guys here, these boots will come right off, like this. So that's the boot off, and that boot feels it. Honestly, when you take off these old boots, they feel paper thin. They're really bad. And basically, that's pretty much this one clean. So don't lose your little tabs here for holding in the brake pads. And other than that, this is pretty much it. I'm just going to give this a clean off with some blue paper, and we'll put fresh grease onto these pins before we push them back in. But that's that bit there. That's that bit done. Now the next thing we want to do is remove this guy here, which I think was, I can't remember. I think it's a 10. A 10 it is. I was correct. And again, you just take out the bleed nipple so that you can actually clean everything. I don't have a new bleed nipple for this. It's just going to be cleaning this old one and reusing it. So I'll be cleaning all this stuff with a Dremel. And that is step one in our cleanup procedure, is to put on some safety glasses. And I just nearly stabbed myself in the eye with safety glasses, and start to clean this. Now what we're going to be using is two different brushes on the Dremel. I can find the second one. So we're going to be using these two brushes here, just to show you. So that wider one, and this more cuppy one. This one is going to be used. We're going to use to clean out all the seats in the caliper, and this brushy one is to clean the rest. After that, we're going to put the whole caliper into the ultrasonic bath and try clean it out as good as possible. After that, we're back to brake cleaner, then brake cleaner, spray out absolutely everything and compressed air out any last bits, and this should be a lot cleaner. So anyway, let's jump to it. Now we have this all cleaned up. Next what we want to do is pop in the new seals, which are in this kit here. So that's the rubber bush thing. If you hear a cat running around, it's just Splat. Please ignore him. He's fine. And we also get copper crush washers, which we won't need because they come with the HEL kit. But basically, what we want to do, sorry, there's something in my eye, even though I was wearing my safety glasses. We have a dust seal and a oil seal for both. The way to tell the difference is, I'll show you. So the dust seal is like this. I'll actually open them all together. So this one is the oil seal. It's thick all the way around, and it's a single seal. And then the dust seal is a much thinner piece of rubber and has this little kind of indentation in the inside just to not fully catch the piston, I assume, I'm not really 100% sure. But either way, they pop in very easily. So the oil seal I like to put in first. It doesn't actually matter which one you put in first, but basically what you want to do, I'll try to line this up for you, is into that groove in there, you just kind of want to manipulate the oil seal into that and seat it. Now I did give all of in this caliper a really good clean out. Obviously it's kind of hard to show you that, but I told you what I use. I use my Dremel, I use my brake cleaner, etc. And then the dust seal sits in a lot easier than the oil seal. It just sits on the top, and to be honest, dust seals can often just kind of pop back out, but once they're seated like that one is there now, they're pretty solid, so nothing major. And that's the main thing with these, is try to just make sure they seat. So we'll try to show you this one a bit better. So there's the inside. This is the oil seal. And if you take these apart, you'll see the big channel. Refocus. And that seal is a little bit twisted. There you go. And if it twists like that one did, you just kind of push at it. Just be gentle. That's all. That's all you need to do, really. You just want to manipulate them into position while not pushing too hard. You don't want to basically damage the rubber or anything. And anyway, that's that. Now the easy bit is actually pushing back in the pistons. Once you use a little bit of red rubber grease. Now if you watched these videos before, well, like me doing brake calipers before, you'd know I'm a supporter of this stuff. So I just get a little bit on my finger, not a lot, and rub all the way around on the inside of that seal. Now when I say a little bit, I mean when you look inside there, you want to be able to see none of it remaining. So sorry, this camera's aimed badly. Like at the moment now, I'm rubbing this onto the seals just to make sure that the pistons can actually clear them. But when I'm finished, there's actually none left on the inside of the barrel. You don't want big globs of it in there, and if there is anything, just rub it off with your finger. Rub it up onto the seals. Which is obviously better. Then to locate the pistons, literally I just push them in with my fingers. The main thing is make sure they're going in straight, to kind of line it up. Sometimes these can be a pain in the butt, but most of the time they're fine. So just make sure the seals are all good. Yeah. The main thing is get it going straight. Once it's going straight, it will seat in. So you'll be able to see there now, that's not wanting to move. There you go. So once you get it past the point, it doesn't really want to go anywhere. You can seat it all the way in. And that's literally all I did there, was use a little bit of red rubber grease and a couple of seconds of persuasion. And the small one went in a lot easier. And that's that pretty much done. Now all we need to do is put back on these new rubber boots. Now, one thing I did do with this one the last time, because this one has to push through here, is again, I got a little bit of my red rubber grease, which will, to be honest, it'll stand to this in the long run anyway. This little booty thing. And then I kind of pushed it through to get it seated, and then used a nice gentle push with an Allen key to get it through the rest of the way. Because what you really don't want to do is tear your brand new boot. That's important. So just to show you, ooh, these new cup things always fall out on me. I'm not really sure what the point of them is, just to keep dirt out, I'd say. But that's that new boot located there. Literally, it's done. It's that. Honestly, some of these things, I know they seem daunting, but oftentimes they're not. And then with the other side is you just want to hook it around this kind of lip. Yeah, I know you can't see this lip now. Hold on, I'll show you. Hey, Splat. So this little lip here, don't know how well you can see that, but that little lip is what this new rubber boot just sits around. So I'm not 100% sure on how well you're able to see it, but again, if you have plastic tools, all the better. I often use Allen keys for this stuff, just because of their round ends, so they tend to be fairly gentle. So that's that side seated. Now we'll go back to this fella that we talked about earlier. So this chap here is going to obviously slide back in and sit up like that. Okay, it's important that we remember to re-grease these pins, which is why I have my Fuchs. Fuchs is just my Fuchs grease is just a standard grease. Again, I just get a little bit on my finger and grease up the pin. And again, don't be shy with this stuff. The main thing is, if it does squeeze back out, obviously just make sure none gets onto your new brake pads or anything like that. Clean it up if that does happen. But really, phone, stop being rude. But if you do get a little bit extra in there, it's okay, because actually it's not a bad thing. It'll just sit inside the boots forevermore. So then you want to push that into position, like so. And now you just need to reseat. That little lip I showed you is also on the other side of these pins. So you want to make sure that seats so that it acts like a bellows and follows the actual pins around. Otherwise, it's an open system basically, and you'll end up getting dust in there, which obviously you do not want. So I'm just going to reseat that now. Okay, and that's that. So now all we need to do is grab my new brake pads, and the code on these is FA129HH, just in case you want to also get these brake pads. Now, to get on these brake pads, I'm sure you can pull the whole pin thing out, but I have found it okay to just, oh, this is the wrong way around, to just kind of swing the whole thing across, push down the pins. I know this is really hard to show you on camera because I'm kind of using my hands. Keep that one up the very top and just push this pin in as far as it'll go, and there you go, that's kind of hooked on. So it's not the easiest thing to do in the world, but it's actually okay once you get the hang of it. And then the other brake pad just kind of drops into place. What I do is just push that back in to kind of keep them in position until you mount them. And there you go. We have two rebuilt brake calipers for a 1995 ZG1000 owned by Kazawhaki. So what I'm going to do now is finish off what I was doing, which is to do the brake master cylinder. I'm not sure will I show you that because there's lots of rust, so I will show you a brake master cylinder. I want to redo the Magna's one anyway, so you'll see that in due course. But this one is a little bit annoying, so I probably won't show you this one because it's frustrating me a smidgeen, which is fine. It's okay, not a big deal. Sometimes these things get frustrating. I almost forgot to show you this. So the brakes are reinstalled along with the rebuilt brake master cylinders. So 1 second, sorry, my finger's in the way. So it feels a lot better now. I just have to actually remount the calipers fully. So there's the new lines. My phone camera's terrible, but you can see it kind of matches up pretty nice. And it just adds a bit of spice. Adds a bit of spice to this old Kawasaki. I know there probably will be people who are kind of like, I wanted to see a rebuild of brake master cylinder. So here is the brake master cylinder on the Magna, and you will notice here I have a rebuild kit for said brake master cylinder. So don't worry, I didn't fob you off. You're gonna get to see it, just not for the Kawasaki, but it's coming. So that's that. Kazawaki's brakes are firmly on the way to being rebuilt. They're actually mounted back in the bike, and I have the brake lines mocked up. I need to get a different circlip spanner to redo the brake master cylinder, so you won't see that today. I'm also having a quick look at his carbs for him, so I'm currently taking them out. That won't be on a video just because it's really difficult to video that stuff, and I kind of want to get his bike done and back to him. So because we've been waiting a long time for some parts took a while to come, so now that I have them all, I just kind of want to blast through the work and get it done for Kaz. So you won't see the carbs, unfortunately, but yeah, you'll see all the rest. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, if you've watched, thank you very much for watching. This was just a very quick run through because people asked for it. Also, it was a nice video for me to do because I had to travel for work last week, so I am way behind on doing videos, and Splat has walked all over my bike and destroyed it with paw prints. Just to finish up the video, thank you again for watching. A massive thank you as always to my patrons, of which Kazawhaki is one. He's also a friend of mine, which is why I am doing all these bits for his bike. It's really, none of this stuff should be too daunting. It's actually quite straightforward. Put a bit of time into the cleaning. Make sure that you have everything clean properly. You don't want to get to the point that you're putting everything back together and you score your brand new pistons or something. And if you can afford to, this is a big thing, if you can afford to, always do replace the pistons and stuff like that if you're doing a rebuild after a long time, because yes, I've done it before on my Gixxer. You don't have to replace the pistons, you can clean them, but at the end of the day, if you want to do the job 100% correct, replace those pistons. It's the best way to go about it, and I obviously would recommend that. But anyway, outro crew, I'll show you guys all the paw prints and stuff, but I'll let everyone else go. So I hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions on brake caliper rebuilds, I've now done quite a few. I've done radials, I've done axials, so that should really cover it forever, hopefully. I'll never have to do another video on brake calipers again until we get to newer, fancier ones, or Yamaha style that screw out from the far side, different thing altogether. If I can ever get my hands on one of those, I will also do a rebuild on them. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Adios. Outro crew, let's try and not drop the camera here. Yep. So there are the new brake lines mounted to the calipers. I'm just cleaning his caliper bolts at the moment, so they're temporarily kind of pinned there with bolts that are far too large, but I think it actually looks really nice, so very happy with that. And back to my bike. Paw prints, as promised. Many paw prints. And yes, also, yeah, bikes and Scotland sticker, because this bike was in Scotland. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it, outro crew. Yeah, just keep walking backwards so I can get all my pretties in one shot. You're not allowed to know about the XT250 in the background. Some people have asked about it yet already. You're not allowed to know about this thing yet. It's a future project. One that will not be done to the extent of the engine out CB500, which will get finished eventually. If you missed that Q&A video, go watch it. But this actually still has compression and everything, so like so. It has compression, so I'm just going to kind of clean it up and see can I get it running. I do need new stanchions for the forks though, because they're goosed, and a few other bits. But hopefully it'll just be a little kind of mess around motorcycle. There's Kazawaki's tank, nice and secure on the couch. This is actually what this couch is generally used for, is motorcycle tanks, because obviously I don't want them getting hurt, so that's kind of where they live. And yeah, anyway, bye outro crew.